हर का नाम हृदय नित ध्याई, संगी साथी सगल तराई। गुर मेरे संग सदा है नाले, सिमर सिमर तिस सदा संभाले रहा। तेरा किया मीठा लागै, हर नाम पदारथ नानक मांगै। ज्ञान ध्यान किश कर्म न जाना, सार न जाना तेरी। सब ते वड्डा सतगुर नानक, जिन कल राखी मेरी। ज्ञान ध्यान किछ कर्म न जाना, सार न जाना तेरी। सब ते वड्डा सतगुर नानक, जिन कल राखी मेरी। धन धन ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਪਾਵਨ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਹਜ਼ੂਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ that are watching now on TV, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਆ, ਅੱਗੇ ਆਵਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੋ ਪਾਵੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਗਜਾਵੇ। ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਓ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ 10 ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ, ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨਾਮੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਸੀਗਾ, ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਜ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤੇ, ਤਾਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਆ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਬਕ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ, the kind of lessons that they gave us, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਅਸੀਂ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਉੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਭੁੱਲਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਨੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਸਿਰਜਿਆ, ਇੰਨੇ ਕਾਰੇ ਕੀਤੇ, ਇੰਨੇ ਕਾਰਨਾਮੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤੇ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਭੁੱਲਦੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀਆਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਇਸ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਪੰਥ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਇਸ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੌਮ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ। The kind of sacrifices that our gurus have made. ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਪੀਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਸਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਫਕੀਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਸਦਾ। There is no saint, there is no prophet that has sacrificed as much as our gurus have. ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬਾਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਦੂਜਿਆਂ ਧਰਮਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸੀਸ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਲਈ, ਆਪਣੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੌਮ ਲਈ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਸੀਸ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਰਤਾਜ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਸਾਡੇ ਪੰਜਵੇਂ ਗੁਰੂ। Today we celebrate their Shaheedi Divas. Obviously, due to the coronavirus, there's not as many samagams as there usually are. ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਪਿੰਡ ਪਿੰਡ, ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ, ਹਰੇਕ ਸੜਕ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸ਼ਬੀਲਾਂ ਲੱਗਦੀਆਂ। They give out free drinks and they say ਆਲੋ ਛਕੋ। ਇਸ ਗਰਮ ਮੌਸਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੇ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਠੰਡ ਕੀ ਆਈ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੀਨੇ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹਉਮੈ ਨਾਲ ਤੱਪਿਆ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਾਇਆ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੱਪਿਆ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਲੋਭ ਮੋਹ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਨਾਲ ਤੱਪਿਆ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਠੰਡਕ ਮਿਲੇ। Let's cool down that ਸਰੀਰ that is always having to deal with ਕਾਮ ਕ੍ਰੋਧ ਲੋਭ ਮੋਹ ਹੰਕਾਰ, and instead let's cool it down and let's just take some time out to remember. Let's take some time out to remember our Guru's ਇਤਿਹਾਸ, remember the kind of things they did for us. ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਰਸਾਏ ਹੋਏ ਮਾਰਗ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਚੱਲਣ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੇਰਨਾ ਕਰੀਏ। We should always try as well to follow in their footsteps. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj is known as Shaheedan de Sartaj, the first Sikh martyr. And you know, a lot of the times when we talk about Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, just their journey to the Guruship, their journey to the Guru Gaddi is something that is always praised. The amount of years they stayed away from their family, away from Guru Ram Das Ji. And they would write shabads, which now are contemplated in Shabad Hazare. And they wrote shabads about how much they missed their Guru and how much they yearned to have darshan of their Guru. And then obviously we know the story of how Pirti Chand, their older brother, how they hid the letters, how they never gave the letters to Guru Ram Das Ji. And after so many years, when Guru Ram Das Ji finally asked for Guru Arjan Dev Ji to return, फिर उन्होंने शब्द उच्चारिया, भाग हुआ गुर संत मिलाया, प्रभ अबिनासी कर मैं पाया. भाग हुआ, my वड्डे भाग. I'm honored. भाग हुआ गुर संत मिलाया. I've met a saint. I've finally been able to do darshan of a true saint. Prabh Abhinasi, that true Mahakal Akaal Purkh Vaheguru, that true Akaal Purkh that can never be destroyed. Abhinasi cannot be destroyed. Kar main paya. I've attained them just by being in my home. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj was given the Guru Gaddi. And as we look into their itihas, we look into the kind of things they did. What Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj did was establish a physical, ideological state in which the Sikhs could show their face to the world. Any Qaum has to have a few certain things in order to be recognized. A Qaum needs their own Vakri Boli, they need their own language, which Guru Angad Dev Ji had already established for us. Gurmukhi or Punjabi. Every Qaum needs a Nishan. That Nishan was established by Guru Sahib as well. Every Qaum needs a Roop. That Roop started to be established at Guru Nanak Sahib's time. It carried on through, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj put a more on it, they solidified it. And then every religion, every Qaum needs some sort of teaching, some sort of reference where they can go and they can look and they can get some answers. And our reference is no other than Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. As well as serving the purpose of our Guru, as well as giving us all the worldly knowledge we need, they always give us an answer. Kade vi tusi jaake hukamnama le sakde hain. You can do it from your phones nowadays. You do an ardas sache dilon jadon aapa ardas karde hain, then your question will always be answered in a hukamnama. Guaranteed. You may not understand it at first, but as you do khoj of it, as you look into it, you'll understand what Guru Sahib said to you. And then every Qaum requires some sort of capital. Every Qaum requires some sort of Kadevi. There is never a response that says, it was alright. ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਲੋਕ ਤਾਂ ਪਾਗਲ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਸਥਾਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੱਥਾ ਲਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ. Sikh ਹੋਣ ਨਾ ਹੋਣ, everyone respects Darbar Sahib as a place. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ, when you go to Darbar Sahib, then first you have to walk downstairs. ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਓ, ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਓ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਥਾਂ ਤੇ, ਕਿਸੇ ਮਸਜਿਦ ਵਿੱਚ, ਕਿਸੇ ਮੰਦਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, if you go to a mandir, if you go to a church, if you go to any other temple in the world, you have to walk upstairs to get to that point. Only one. ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਥਾਨ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਥੱਲੇ ਨੀਵੇਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ, ਉਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣ ਨੂੰ। Not just body wise, but also your mind. Man vi nima hunda. There's a certain effect to it that when you walk down those steps and you see the Darbar Sahib complex in front of you, thoda man vi nima ho janda. That is the kind of Sikhya that Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj gave to us. Ki je tusi Gurudware auna, sab to pehla apne aap nu neeme ho ke aao. Come as a poor person, come. Don't come thinking that you have all the gyan in the world. Don't come thinking that you have all the money in the world. Come thinking that thoda Guru hai sara kuch hai, te Guru ne jehda bakshiya, unna hi bahut hai. These kind of teachings was what caused so many problems for the Mughal Raj. These kind of ideologies, these kind of concepts that we have in Sikhi, these were the kind of things that were causing people, not just Hindus but also Muslims as well, to convert to Sikhi. They started to choose the path of Sikhi because they thought they saw the power inside of it. They saw how Sikhs lived free, even in such an oppressed state. Even now when you go to India, even in such an oppressed state where we are now, Sikhs still live free. Sure, we have certain hadaitan on us. Sure, there are things that we just cannot do. Where sade man, our minds are always free. A barge can never be captured. When you capture a barge, it's always bichain, and eventually it will find a way to break free. In the same way, the Khalsa Panth, Guru Sahib's Panth, has never been able to be controlled, and hopefully with Maharaj's Kirpa, it never will be. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj's teachings and the rest of the teachings from all the other Guru Sahibans before them were written down by Bhai Gurdas Ji into the Ard Granth Sahib. This was the base form of Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. In here contained 5 Gurus' writings, 5 Gurus' Shabads. But even then, even at that time, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj left blank pages towards the end, and they said to Bhai Gurdas Ji, make sure you leave a blank page here, make sure you leave a blank page there. Bhai Gurdas Ji was confused and he asked Guru Sahib, why? What's the need for us to leave blank pages? It's a Granth, it should be Sampuran. And Guru Sahib said to Bhai Gurdas Ji that it can't be Sampuran until I am in my Dasma Janam. Only then will it be Sampuran. With the 9th Guru's writings, then it will be Sampuran. And thus we have that Sampuranta Devas of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj as well. Jadon 10वें Paatshah Sahib Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj ne is Granth nu Sampuran kita. When they finished the Granth and they established it as the Guru, fir banaya Guru Granth. As we look into the history, there are a lot of factors within the history, within the Shaheedi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. A lot of people always remain confused. Some people say it was because of Bani that Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj and the Gurus before them had written Bani that was targeting certain practices of Muslims. Some people say that it was for other reasons. Some people say it was just because Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj was a rebel at the time. But all those reasons combined were this main issue. The main issue is that oppression was being destroyed. That is what the Sikh Panth was created for in the first place, to stop tyranny, to give people some sort of hope. And now we can see, think about it, think about how our Panth has changed. We're so selfish nowadays, we struggle to go and help someone. It could be a poor person on the street and we struggle to go up to them and give them some money. But on weddings, we're happy to throw money in the air. We're happy to spend loads of money on sharab and drink that on wedding days, but we can't give money to seva. We can't give money to sangat. We can't give our own time to sangat. Let's try and understand what happened. Why was Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj martyred in the first place? Obviously, this oppression was a big problem. The Mughals had oppressed everyone that was in India apart from Guru Nanak Sahib's Panth. This Panth remained free and it carried on doing prachar. From the first Guru to the second to the third, the fourth, the fifth, all our Guru Sahibans continuously did prachar. And as they continued to do it, the emperors started to change their mind. Emperor Akbar, who had been in close contact with Tan Sri Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj as well, they were already fairly impressed with how Sikhi conducted itself, how Sikhi was. They even asked, when Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj had created the Adi Granth Sahib, they asked Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj to come to their darbar and to do vichar of what they've written. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj sent by Gurdas Ji and Baba Buddha Ji, the first ever head Granthi of Sachkhand Sri Darbar Sahib. And the one thing that Akbar was so impressed with was the fact that it was just writing in God's praises. Everything that was written, it wasn't there to harm anyone, it wasn't there to defame anyone, it was just there to get people to understand that there is no need in looking for Rabb, because Rabb remains inside you. All you have to do is grow your own strength to push that Rabb through. There's a Shabad as well that very clearly outlines this. The Shabad says, Hindu Anna, Turko Kana, Doha to Gyani Syana. Guru Sahib writes that a Hindu is blind. Why? Because they don't see Paramatma in each other. They don't see Waheguru in people, and they don't see Waheguru in outside either. They see Waheguru in their murtiyan. They see their gods in their murtiyan. And then Turko Kana. Turks referred to the Muslims, and he said that the Turks are like people with one eye open when they're blind from one eye. Why? Because they see Akaal Purkh Waheguru outside, but they don't see Akaal Purkh Waheguru within someone. And then Guru Sahib writes, Doha to Gyani Syana. Guru Sahib says that the people better than them are those Gyanis, those people who see both, who see Akaal Purkh Waheguru in people and also outside as well. They see that Sargun and they see that Nirgun Roop of Akaal Purkh Waheguru. And that's where you get this concept. And this is the kind of concept that Akbar was so, he found it so strange, and yet he found it so right. The Ghazis in Akbar's time, they were so confused. They had no idea why Emperor Akbar was enjoying the company of Sikhs. People who had seen Emperor Akbar's reaction, they were starting to turn their religion, whether they were Muslims or whether they were Hindus, they were starting to convert into Sikhi. And what was very interesting is that these Ghazis then started to ploy, they started to figure out, they started to think, how can we sort this mess out? How can we get rid of these people who are just breaking down our fanatic system that we've created? Because Islam is not a bad religion. It is only those fanatics that reside in every religion. There are fanatics in every religion. And it's those type of people that then ruin a religion. So these fanatic Ghazis tried to figure out a way of how they could stop Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj from doing this kind of prachar. And they thought of one way, and that way was Jahangir, Emperor Akbar's eldest son. Jahangir means the world's conqueror. And they started to fill Jahangir with poison. They started to fill him with this anger towards the Gurukar, that he should feel very annoyed, he should feel animosity towards the Gurukar. And there's no need for these Sikhs to live, and that we should ensure that they do not live because they are falsely converting people, when really people were changing their religion just by seeing this faithful side to everything. And these kind of issues, these kind of things that they started filling with him, he started to believe that they were true, and he continuously tried to pick out things and to try and put pavandiyan on people. Obviously the jizya tax was one thing, but that had been going on for a long time. He also continuously started oppressing people, telling people that you could not have your own center. You could not have a place where people can discuss things. You cannot have a place, a certain place to your own. And Sikhs had that kind of place, Darbar Sahib. He started to try and put Pavandi on Darbar Sahib, and Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj actually sent him a letter and said that this is not the place of people, this is not the place of your people, this is not the place of you. You do not own this place. This place is owned by Akaal Purakh Waheguru. It's not owned by you. Fast forward a few years, Jahangir was still looking for excuses. Around this time, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj was born. And in the Purane Samay, the Ravaj was obviously old-fashioned, and they used to marry off their children when they were about the age of 10. So Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj was, growing up, and they were around the age of 10 when a Pandit recommended to Chandu Shah. Now Chandu Shah was the Diwan of Delhi at the time. He was like the chief minister. And Chandu Shah, this Pandit actually said to Chandu Shah that you should get your daughter married to Guru Har Gobind Sahib because he's strong, he's powerful. And he's not a bad person. He looks very good as well. He would be a good match for you. And at this time, Chandu Shah, filled with hankar, he said that I don't need to give my daughter to a fakir, to a poor fakir. There's no point when I'm from a house of riches. At this point, the Sikhs that were there, they wrote this and sent this to Guru Sahib, that this is the kind of stuff that he's saying. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji at the time refused the proposal. He said that it can't happen. Because Chandu Shah was also an opium drinker. He was someone who would not have fit in with the Sikh Ratam Riyada at all. Now in the Purane Samay, the Ravaj was that if a daughter, in this Hindu custom, the Ravaj was that if a daughter's engagement had been broken off, then she could not get married. It was very difficult. And so because of that, Chandu Shah's daughter then had to suffer for her father's mistakes. And we see that nowadays as well, how some people, some young children kind of suffer for what their parents do, whether it's, because their parents aren't in Sikhi, whether it's because their parents are in Sikhi and they're too qattar. Things like that will affect your children. And it is difficult as well sometimes to draw the line. Where's the balance? Feeling ashamed, starting to kind of understand what kind of a bezti move he had made, Chandu Shah continuously tried to get this sorted out, but Guru Sahib refused. So then Chandu Shah went to Jahangir. And he told Jahangir, this guy, Guru Arjan Dev, he's just continuously, talking bad about you. He's just started filling his ears with lies, saying that he's against Islam, he's against people, he's against, your Raj, he's a threat to your Raj. And a threat to Jahangir's Raj had already been made. Jahangir's own son, Khusro, he had actually already started a rebellion against Jahangir because he wasn't happy with how his father was running the country. He wasn't happy seeing all this tyranny, all this kind of false pride. And Chandu Shah took full advantage of that, and he told Jahangir that Guru Arjan Dev had a hand in Khusharo's rebellion. Khusharo was then later captured and killed. But that kind of idea always remained in his mind, that how dare the Guru allow this rebellion, how dare the Guru try and aid a rebellion against me. He continued to look for excuses, he continued to look for ways in which he could capture the Guru, and eventually he did. In Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, there are many shabads written. Some of those shabads teach you about how to live on this planet. Some of those shabads teach you how to get to the next world, how to get to Akaal Purkh Waheguru. And also some of those shabads teach you how rituals are useless, how certain ideologies are useless, how there is falsehood, and how to keep away from it. And Guru Sahib, one of these shabads had been written in Asa Diwar, Mitti Mussalman ki, Peede Pai ko Myar. When a Muslim had buried a family, a relative, when that person had died, when they had their funeral and they buried this person, grave robbers back in the days used to go around and they used to hunt places where people had been buried. Why? Because the mitti that was around that place could be turned into clay very easily because of all the fluids that would leave a body. So that clay used to be stolen and then used for pots and pans. So Kumyar is someone who does pottery. This was the kind of concept, this kind of ideology, and there were many shabads like this written, there still are, that, you know, certain ideologies, certain concepts that Sikhi doesn't believe in, those kind of things have been written about and the reasons for them have been given in those shabads as well. Jahangir used this and he called Guru Arjan Dev Ji to Lahore. And at this point Guru Arjan Dev Ji knew what was going to happen. They knew in 1606 that the only reason why they're calling for me is they're trying to get rid of me. Now the one thing a lot of people fail to realize in our Panth is that all our Gurus, every single one of them was Shastratari. A lot of people are trying to separate Guru Nanak Sahib from Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, and they say that this was the peaceful Guru, this was the social reformer, and this was the violent man who continuously fought jungs. And they say Guru Granth Sahib Ji is just a book. There's loads of these divisions that are being made now in our Panth where people are trying to separate these people, but you cannot separate it. People are saying now the slogan Deg Fateh, that should be separated. When you take Deg refers to Kara Prashadi Deg. When you take Deg, it is only Kara Prashad, it is only Prashad when Bhog has been done on it with a Sarblon Kirpan. And when that Sarblon Kirpan strikes through the Prashad, it leaves away Sarblon ions. When it leaves Sarblon particles, that Deg has part of the Kirpan inside it. So how can you separate Deg and Deg? They have to go hand in hand together. So there are many types of issues going on now. People don't understand that all our Gurus were Shastratari. They didn't always need to use them, but they always had a concept. Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj started Mallakhade. They'd started wrestling where people could learn how to wrestle, learn how to fight. This Gurti continued where Baba Buddha Ji would continuously train people in Shastra Vidya. Every single one of the Gurus were trained in Shastra Vidya. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj was no different. When Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj was going to get married in their Sora Pind, it was a Ravaj in that Pind that when a Munda would go there to get married, then they would have to pull a killa out of the ground. We see Nihang Singhs do it now as well at Hulla Mahalla, where they pull a killa out of the ground with a nidja. The only reason why they do that is because at this time Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj was asked to do that if they wanted to get married in that Pind. But the Saurakara, some of the people that were around there, they were a bit jalak. And they said, you know what, let's test if he actually has got any strength. Let's test if he's actually is a guru. And they decided to put the Kila as a big, massive tree that was rooted in the ground for many, many years. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj hit that tree with a barsha and pulled it right out of the ground. He couldn't have done that if he had no knowledge of how to use a barsha, of how to be Shastrtari. In the same way, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, their son, then continued this ideology of battle, and they started to create this teaching of Gatka and this teaching of horse riding, keeping weapons, the Miri Piri Dol Talavara. All our gurus had this kind of Shastrtari roop, and sometimes we fail to understand that. But hand in hand, some people say, okay, if your gurus were so Shastrtari, why did Guru Arjan Dev Ji give the Shaheedi? Why did Guru Arjan Dev Ji give the Shaheedi? The answer is very simple. We read it all the time in Sri Anand Sahib. Khannyo tikhi, valo nikki, et marg jana. This marg of Sikhi, this marg of the saints, to walk on this path, you have to be able to walk on a sword. The path is so thin to fall on either side, the good or the bad, to be a fanatic or to be an idealist. This kind of path, the path is so narrow, it's so difficult to walk on. It's like the blade of a sword, and it's even smaller than a piece of hair. That's the kind of path that Sikhs walk, and Guru Sahib wanted to show us that if you walk on this path, you will have to put some sort of sacrifice, that my Sikhs will have to go through these kind of things. And look at our history, that's the kind of things we've gone through. When Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj was brought to Lahore, they were asked to change that Bani, change that Pankti and Bani to Mitti Baiman ki. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji said no. He said, there is no way I'm changing the Bani of the Gurus before me. There is no way I can change that. They continued to put pressure on him. They tried to bribe Guru Sahib. It didn't work. And Chandu Shah wanted to torture and punish the Guru. They spent 5 days of utter punishment, utter torture. We'll try and go over what happened at each stage, at each day. On the first day, the torture was what we could call simplistic. Guru Sahib wasn't allowed to eat, sleep, or drink any water. They were forced to keep awake, and they weren't giving anything to eat. But Guru Sahib took this very calmly, and they just continued doing Waheguru Simran the whole way through. On day 2, Chandu Shah had begun to get fed up that the Guru hasn't given up. We've just taken away his food and water, he should have given up by now. So he decided to go to a more ruthless punishment. What did he decide to do? Chandu then filled a massive batta, huge batta full of water. At the bottom, a huge stove with logs, and he sat Guru Sahib in the middle of the water, and they boiled the water. And through the whole time, Guru Sahib kept on reciting one shabad, Tera kiya, meetha lage har naam padarat, nanak mange. Tera kiya, meetha lage. Something that nowadays we need to try and understand and implement in our lives more. Tera kiya, whatever Akaal Purkh Waheguru does is for the best. To me, that is sweet. Nowadays we say, oh, Waheguru has done this, man, this is so annoying. Every single time they keep doing this to me. Oh, I can't win the lottery. Oh, I can't get a new car. I can't do this. I can't do that. Mainu nami gaddi nahi mili. Mainu nama ghar nahi milaya. And people get so annoyed over those little things. They say, yaar, faida ki a sikh hon da, je aa nahi cheezaਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਣੀਆਂ, ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ. Et marg jana. We try and understand that this is the marg that Guru Sahib told us about. Khannyo tikhi walo nikhi. This is the kind of marg that Atije Patsha told us about. This is the marg of Sikhi. It's a difficult path. You should only walk it if you're ready. Jo to prem khilan ka chao. Sir tar tali gali mariyao. If you want to play the game of love, then place your head on your hand and walk this path. It marg pair trijai, sir dijai, karna kijai. When you walk on this path, be ready to give your head, don't be ready to turn away. That is the kind of Sikhi path that we have, and that's the issue now that we have nowadays. To us, everyone is a Sikh. Those people who don't want to follow Sikhi just because they're born into it, we give them the name of Sikh. But if they don't want to follow it, they can't be Sikhs. That's why we have this kind of kacha form of Sikhi nowadays. Why do you think we haven't had another good leader in so long? Why do you think that Sikhs nowadays, we're kind of the joke in India? It's because pakkaness has disappeared. That pakka saroop that we used to have, that pakka raitamriyada that we used to have, that pakka ideology of who a Sikh was and who wasn't has disappeared. It's all this acceptance that has started to mess with our panth. And you know, this is one of the big points. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj at this time, they didn't say, okay, I'm going to give up my Sikhi. They carried on taking the punishment. He said, Tera kiya mitha lage, har naam padarth nanak mange. All I ask is for your naam, for your name. Please give me that power, and I'll go through whatever I have to do. That's the kind of pyar that our gurus had for Sikhi. Why do we not have that pyar anymore? If our gurus could do it, why can't we do it? When everything is written in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, when everything is written out for us line by line, it tells us step by step what we need to do to get to Akaal Purakh Waheguru. Why is it we can't do it? Is it because we're lazy? Or is it because we just don't believe in it? Unfortunately, the harsh truth is there are a lot of people nowadays who do not believe in the power of Sikhi. They can believe what they want to believe. But those Gurmukh Pyare will always remember that this is our Shaheediyan, this is the kind of things our Guru has done for us, and we are not going to fall back on what they did for us. On day 3, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, this is probably the most famous picture as well that we see, the most famous painting of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, Shaheedi, that we see, where Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj was sat on a hot tavi, on a tatti tavi, on a hot iron pan, and they were sat on there, and then hot sand was poured over their head. Just think about that for a second. Sitting on a blazing hot tavi. You know, sometimes we're cooking. Sometimes we make roti and we hit our hand on the tawa. When that happens, we pull our hands right back and we're like, yo, that hurt, man. My hand's burning, you know, that really hurt. Imagine how much it must have pained Guru Sahib to sit on the tatti tavi. And the tavi didn't go thanda. This again drives this idea home. The tavi did not go thanda. Guru Sahib sat and they took the heat, saying, my Sikhs are going to have to face things like this. When Sai Mian Mir ji came to Guru Sahib and they saw the kind of kasht, they saw the kind of painful torture Guru Sahib was going through, they said, Guru Sahib, why are you doing this? Why are you letting this happen to yourself? You see, Mendo Dasso, I'll start a war with these people and I'll get these people charged. I'll ensure that these people do not live. Guru Sahib said that, Tera kiya mitha lage, har naam padarth nanak mange. I want to stay in the Pana of Akaal Purakh. But this is also a lesson to my Sikhs, to those people, कि साडी Sikh कौम ने इदां दे काम करने आ. These are the kind of things we'll have to face. And I don't want in history for us to go down as the people who are challenged and then we walk away. I want to be, this panth is created for the whole reason of when someone gives us a challenge, we meet them there with double the force. We meet them there with double the josh. We don't meet them there unprepared. Marne te kya darpana jab haath sidaura leen. Bhagat Kabir ji writes that very clearly. Kabir aise hoye pari man ko bhavat leen. Marne te kya darpana. What is the need to be scared of maut jab haath sidaura leen, when I've taken the reins in my hand and I'm going towards maut myself. This is how powerful our gurus were. And now our Sikhs, sometimes, you know, we give up Sikhi for just very simple reasons, for Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Let's look into what happened then on the next day. On day 4, this torture continued, where Guru Sahib was sat on a tatti tavi. It was burning their flesh, it was paining them. And then on top, hot sand was poured on the top of their body. Again, they sat there doing Naam Simran, reciting Bani. And then on the 5th day, Guru Sahib again showed कि सिक्खां नूं कितना प्यार होना चाहिए मौत नाल. पहला मरण कबूल, जीवन की छड़ आस, हो सबना की रेणका, ताओ आओ हमारे पास. Remember this Sikhya. Pehla maran kabul. When a Sikh is born, the first thing they must learn to accept is maut. Maut ne auna hi auna sareyan li. How you choose to die is up to you. Do you die a coward's death and commit suicide? Do you die the death of a hero and give Shaheedi? Do you die the death of a Mahapurkh? Spend your life. Guru Sahib says this is how you spend your life. You don't have fear of death. You do everything you can. You live every day like as if it is your last, because sama pata nahi kadon aana. When you have this kind of concept in your mind, fear tao aao hamare paas, then you can come towards the Guru. Then you can live in that Sikhi Saroop. Then you can have that true power that Guru Sahib's Amrit has given us. To cheat death, to go past death, to gain this immortality that we talk about, when we could stay with Akaal Purkh Waheguru forever. So on the 5th day, Chandu Shah was struggling. He was trying to figure out, okay, what can I do to make the Guru pain even more? Now near Lahore, where Guru Sahib was being tortured, which is now the Gurdwara Dera Sahib, the Ravi River flows through there. And Guru Sahib gave Chandu Shah an idea. He said that, okay, if you want to torture me, if you want to pain me a lot, let me take an Ishnan in the Ravi River. And Chandu Shah, when he thought about it, he said, you know what, okay, yeah, that's actually a really good idea. That's actually a really, really good idea. Why? Because Guru Sahib's body was full of shalle, they were full of blisters. Half of Guru Sahib's skin had come on off, and it was exposing the new layer of skin. When Guru Sahib was going to go into a Thanda Darya, it was going to pain their body a lot. It was going to hurt their body a lot. And so, Guru Sahib took an Ishnan in the Ravi River, and then the soldiers were watching from corner to corner to make sure the Guru didn't escape. And Guru Sahib was just there having an Ishnan, and then all of a sudden, poets have this very creative way of explaining it, where they say light turned to body and body turned to light. Light and body became one, and the Guru was gone. Guru Sahib's body had disappeared. So in a sthan like that, Guru Sahib had proven that you can give Shaheedi do, and this is the kind of life you will live. You'll always be remembered. Hon in India koi vi eho jiha banda nahi hega jinu nahi pata ki Guru Arjan Dev ji ne kidaਂ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ. ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਹਿੰਦੂਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ. ਤੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ 4 ਪੁੱਤਰ ਵੀ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਸੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਲਈ. ਇਹੋ ਜੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਆ ਸਾਡੀ. This is our ਸਿੱਖੀ. Qurbani, sacrifice is the biggest fal you can get from Guru Sahib. Sacrifice is the biggest thing you can ask for. So ਅਸੀਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਮੰਗਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋਂ. We ask for loads of things. ਕਦੇ ਗੱਡੀ ਮੰਗ ਲਈ, ਕਦੇ ਪੈਸਾ ਮੰਗਿਆ, ਕਦੇ ਜੌਬ ਮੰਗੀ, ਕਦੇ ਘਰ ਮੰਗਿਆ. We ask for loads and loads of things. ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹਾਲੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ. ਸਿੱਖ ਹੋਣਗੇ, ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਜਿਹੇ, ਵਿਰਲੇ ਕਈ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਹੋਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੰਗਦੇ ਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਸ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਦਾਤ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ ਦਿਓ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਸ਼ਹਾਦਤ ਲਈ. Give me that mauka for sacrifice, ताकि मैं अपने गुरु दा नाम उच्चा करा. We have to remember that Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, this Shaheedi that they gave it for us. सानू भी होना चाहिदा, साडे मनां दे विच भी होना चाहिदा कि कदों वो दिन आवेगा. When will that day come ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਦੇਣ ਦੇ ਲਾਇਕ ਹੋਵਾਂਗੇ? ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ. Shaheedi is a sacrifice. A sacrifice could be anything. It doesn't just have to be of your life. It could be of your prana life. You could sacrifice your prana life and come back into Sikhi. You could sacrifice sharab and stop drinking it. Sacrifice drugs and stop taking them. A Shaheedi can be Shaheedi in many different ways. Sab to vaddi o Shaheedi hai jehड़ा अपने धर्म ਲਈ ਸੀਸ ਦੇਣਾ. So let's all remember, let's take some time today as well to thank Guru Sahib on this pavitra day for giving us this Shaheedi. For giving us a Shaheedi that we can remember and that we can take a lesson from. That we should learn to accept what Vaheguru has done for us, not try and ask for other things. ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਹੋਗੀ, ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੋਗੀ, where we stop asking and we start doing, ਉਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ we'll get back to that point. We'll get back to ਉਹ ਤੱਤ ਖਾਲਸਾ, that original Khalsa that Guru Sahib created for us. Not this kind of goal-mole idea that we have nowadays. So please, on this day, take out some time, do ardas to Guru Sahib. I know some of the Gurdwara are still shut, a lot of the Gurdwara are still shut. Just do ardas in your home. Maharaj da hukum vi a कि रहरा साहब दा पाठ करके उपरंत खड़ो के अरदास करनी. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's 52 hukums, they've said that after you do Rehra Sahib, every Sikh should do Rehra Sahib. After they do Rehra Sahib, they should stand up and do ardas. Although, make sure you stand up, you do ardas and thank Guru Sahib for the Shaheedi that they gave for us. ਤੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰੋ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੱਲੇ ਵੀ ਕੁਛ ਮਤ ਦਿਓ. Give us some sort of ਗਿਆਨ, give us some sort of idea ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਕਹਾਣ ਦੇ ਲਾਇਕ ਹੋਈਏ. Let's be Guru Sahib Sikhs ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਤੋਰੀਏ. ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ nowadays ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਤੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖੀ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਤੋੜ ਲਿਆ. ਸਿੱਖ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸੇਮ ਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈ. Nowadays we got this concept of a Sikh is a Sikh, a Gursikh is a stronger Sikh, and then an Amritdhari is the best Sikh. But really, Sikh, Gursikh ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਫਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ. ਗੁਰੂ ਸਿੱਖ, ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਹੈ, ਏਕੋ ਗੁਰ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਚਲਾਏ. Guru is a Sikh, the Guru is a Sikh, and the Sikh is also the Guru. Ekko Guru Upadesh Chalai. And that one Guru, that one Akaal Purkh Vaheguru has created this Upadesh, that Sikh nu vi ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੀ ਸਤਕਾਰ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਬਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰਕ ਬਣੇ, ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਲਾ ਬਣੇ. So let's all take out some time today. Try and read Sri Sukhmani Sahib if you can. Try and read some sort of Bani today from Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. Think about the pyar, the satkar. Read Shabad Hazare. Listen about the pyar that Guru Sahib wrote in those chittiyan. Idda da pyar sada hona chahiye Guru Sahib naal, not just assi matha tek ke chal gaye te Guru Sahib nu bhul liya baki de din lai. So I hope you've all enjoyed. Bhulla chukka di khema. Please forgive me if I made any mistakes or if I hurt anyone's feelings. Again, it's never my intention to hurt anyone's feelings. It's just to get the truth out. Because Sikhi truth, yeah. Sikhi is the truth. Truth is always positive. Truth can't be negative. So therefore, let's try and keep the truth positive. Let's try and keep Sikhi positive. And let's put forward these ideas of positivities in this time of negativity. ਅਖੀਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਤਿਹ ਦੀ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾਈਏ ਜੀ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Sri Akaal.